The United States Justice Department is facing mounting backlash after admitting it made serious mistakes in handling the Jeffrey Epstein files, including failures in redacting sensitive victim information that should never have been made public. In a stunning court filing submitted to the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York, Attorney General Pam Bondi and senior Justice Department officials acknowledged that thousands of documents had to be temporarily removed after concerns emerged that victim identifying details may have slipped through the redaction process. The admission comes as scrutiny intensifies over the department's compliance with the Epstein Files Transparency Act, a law designed to ensure public access to records while safeguarding the privacy of survivors who have already endured unimaginable trauma. According to the filing, approximately 9,500 documents were taken down from the DOJ's public repository after being flagged for further review amid fears that names and other identifying information had not been fully protected. In a letter to federal judges overseeing both the Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell cases, Bondi, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, and U.S. Attorney Jay Clayton conceded that hundreds of documents required additional scrutiny because they may have contained details identifying victims who had not previously been recognized in the department's review process. The department described what it called a robust effort involving 500 reviewers tasked with examining millions of pages, yet acknowledged that inadvertent errors still occurred. In one example cited directly in the filing, officials noted that within an 80-page scanned document that had been comprehensively redacted, a victim's first name appeared on a single page, an oversight that has now triggered further review. Lawyers representing survivors say the consequences of such errors are not bureaucratic technicalities but real-world risks that can expose victims to harassment, retaliation, and renewed trauma. A review by the Wall Street Journal found that at least 43 victims' names remained visible in files released earlier this year, amplifying concerns that the redaction process failed to meet the legal and ethical standards survivors were promised. The department insists it is working around the clock to correct the errors and republish appropriately redacted material, emphasizing that the sheer scale of the release, 3 million pages, 180,000 images, and 2,000 videos, represents the largest disclosure under the Epstein Files Transparency Act. Yet, for many survivors, the scale of the release is precisely why vigilance matters most. And on one of the biggest television stages in America, they made that point impossible to ignore. On Super Bowl Sunday, survivors of Jeffrey Epstein released a powerful public service announcement demanding full transparency and urging Americans to stand with them in calling for the complete release of all information related to what they describe as the largest sex trafficking scandal in the world. The emotional PSA, produced by World Without Exploitation, featured survivors speaking directly to the camera, asking the public to pressurize Attorney General Bondi to ensure nothing is hidden and no detail is quietly buried. The closing message was blunt and unmistakable. Stand with us, tell Attorney General Bondi it's time for the truth. The timing was deliberate. Broadcast during one of the most watched events of the year, the message underscored survivors' determination to maintain public pressure on the Justice Department as it navigates both transparency demands and privacy obligations. Meanwhile, the latest tranche of documents has once again drawn global attention because of references to prominent figures across technology, business, and public life. Among the names appearing in investigative materials are Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates, Tesla CEO Elon Musk, investor Reid Hoffman, and Britain's Prince Andrew, figures whose prior associations with Epstein have long fueled public curiosity and controversy. The controversy now presents a dual crisis for the Justice Department. On one side stands a public demanding full transparency about the network that enabled Epstein's crimes. On the other stand survivors who insist transparency must never come at the cost of their safety or dignity. For Attorney General Bondi, the challenge is stark: restore trust, protect victims, and uphold the law, all while navigating political, legal, and moral minefields. As documents continue to be reviewed and reposted, the debate over how much the public deserves to know and how best to protect those who suffered shows no sign of fading.
Times of India videos, your daily dose of India and the world. Global news, different views, and sharp analysis.
Pressure of expectation from your fans, your supporters.
That has often served as a backdrop for several Bollywood.
You're not a brute majority anymore. If you individually take out data,
Making sense of global conflicts. Tracking the new emerging world order.
strike on Israeli military bases.
A multi-pronged
to stay out of harm's way as Israel started bombing targets across.
Understanding changing alliances in a polarized world. Tune into TOI videos for all this and more. Click on the bell icon to subscribe and never miss an update.